Key action number 3 is increase your savings. So this one is, I think quite a lot of people are hesitant. As you'll see, we'll look at some numbers about how Kiwis do with on the savings. But what does this mean? You're going to add more into your savings, or you're going to start an emergency fund. So this fund is only for things that you cannot predict that are going to happen. So for example, if you have an old car and you know that it's going out, you can predict that happens, save up over time, fix it. But none of us really predicted us having to go into lockdown and people losing their jobs. So loss of employment is actually one of those that we can't really predict. And you also can't really predict how long you're going to be out of work. Those are external factors. So an emergency fund is there for only emergencies. It's not for a holiday. It's not to renovate your home or to improve your home. It's for those things where I need money to cover my needs, okay? So the emergency fund acts as insurance. So if something goes wrong, that you actually can cover it with your own money and you don't have to resort to debt. That is the most amazing thing about emergency fund, is because you kind of say, oh, I actually have the money. Now, some people are like, well, what's the big deal? I can go into debt. Well, again, your money's tied up in interest, and it's usually over something that you are not going to reap that value from later. Okay, so that puts you behind financially instead of forward. So an emergency fund is not really about getting you to move forward financially. It's more about keeping you stable. It's that money that you put in the past. So how are Kiwis doing nationally? I don't think any country is happy with their savings numbers, but this came from an article that was talking about how New Zealand is in the bottom 5 countries. Yeah. So we just beat Latvia. Okay. So this was a projection for 2020 last year. So obviously they didn't predict the lockdown, but still negative 1.23% of disposable income. That means it's negative. That means people are actually spending more of their disposable income than what they actually have. So how are they filling that gap? Debt. So it's not all bad. The worst that is on this chart anyway was 2005, where it was negative 5.99. And as you can see on this chart, it's coming up in 2008, where the GFC, where savings kind of went down quite a bit, right? Because people are now either using their savings or they don't have the money to do that. But it did creep back up. Okay, so we've been in that downslope before now in the last few years, and a little bit up since then. So as you can see, we have some work to do. So what do you need to do actually is make a plan based on your income again. Income is actually so important because your wealth can be boosted and generated by your income. So that's why you have to really take it seriously, how much income you have, and if you need to increase it, then take it seriously to increase it. But that's an aside. So what we are wanting to do is to, if you're out of work, then you're going to do something different. It's going to be very similar to your pay down your debt. You're going to make sure you're covering your needs first. You're in survival mode. You can't take any extra money to do anything until your income increases. If your income is uncertain, or you have secure income, what you're going to do is you're going to look at your needs. So again, we've made categories. My expenses are needs, priorities, and wants. You're going to look at your needs, all those 5 things that I said: transportation, shelter, utilities, clothing, and shelter. Did I say that twice? It is in the planner. You're going to look at those. You're going to cover you're going to say, how much do I need to cover 3 to 6 months of just that? Because if you lost your job, you're not going to be still trying to pay for all your wants out of your emergency fund. You're just trying to cover your needs until you increase your income. So you're going to look at how much you have savings now, how much do you need, and you're going to start dividing that up into weekly payments. You're going to transfer it, that's where it says automate it, transfer it automatically so you don't feel it. One of the, when you look at the psychology of money and looking at studies and stuff, one of the things that keeps coming up is what happened when we weren't touching our money anymore. What happened was we weren't seeing it. So then we started making all these decisions that we weren't making previously. Well, one of the good things out of not seeing your money is that when you need to do something that's actually good for you that you don't want to do, like put some money away for savings, then you don't see it. So just automate it. You don't see it. It just accumulates over time, kind of like your Kiwi saver. For more financial tips, advice, and education, like, follow, and subscribe.